Would you like to know how you can change your destiny? Join me in this episode where we take a deep dive into the whole energy behind manifestation. So if part of your life sucks, or maybe all of your life sucks, then you probably want to change the way your life is. This episode, we are going to go deep diving into how you can consciously change your destiny. So before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share this video if all of this resonates with you. There are so many ways you can look at how to handle your life, how to manage your life. The truth is, there's reasons why you don't have to be a victim of circumstance. There's reasons why you don't have to play the victim, and there's very powerful reasons why you can take ownership of your destiny. So here's how. First of all, you must have clarity. Be clear about what it is that you choose, emphasize the word choose, to create into your life. So is it the kind of relationship, a new home, a new car, your work, money? What is it that you are looking for? In the world of energy medicine and chakra medicine, we believe that everything is energy. In fact, that's what the world of quantum physics says as well. So I am a field of energy. I am a body of energy, as are you. So is the sofa behind me, the wall behind me, the lighting, the camera. Everything is energy. And when you start operating from that level of frequency, then you start grasping how easy it is to transform your life. Not just change, but permanently transform. So what are the processes that happen when you are manifesting? Well, first thing is we have our highest energy center, which is the Crown Chakra, just above your head. Now, the Crown Chakra is your connection to universal consciousness. Some will call it God, some will call it the universal energy. It doesn't matter about the name. The point is, before anything is manifest, there's this connection between your crown and the whole entirety of the universe. Remember, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest is also energy. So the first thing is you are connected to the universe. The next thing is having vision. So this is where the clarity is important. I'm talking about a higher level vision. I'm not talking about something you read in a magazine or you've watched on TV or you saw on the internet, but a vision of what it is that you're really looking for. What's the feeling that's going to give to you? What is it going to sound like? What is it going to smell like? What is it going to taste like? So you're involving all your senses, and this is still at the visionary stage. Can you see yourself living that new reality with whatever it is that you're choosing to manifest? And if you can't, then place yourself as if you have it all already. That's just stage 2. Stage 3 is all about your throat chakra. So this is the third eye chakra I've just spoke about. Stage 3 is your throat chakra. The throat chakra is all about expression and impression. Throat is about hearing the highest truth. I'm not talking about hearing what anybody and everybody is telling you should do. I'm talking about actually using your intuition to hear what is really being said. So the universe is giving you signs. The universe is sending you people. And through all these signs and people, you've got to decipher, and this happens at a higher frequency, decipher what feels right. And then, of course, you've got to express your vision. You have to create this blueprint of what it is that you're going to create. So, for example, if you wanted to be a NBA basketball player or a football coach, or you wanted to be in a relationship, what does that situation look like? What does that eventuality look like? What are the different components of it? So, for example, if you're looking to create an amazing relationship, what does that relationship look like? Not just you sitting, having fun with your partner, but what are you doing together? In what way are you doing? Is it you going out to dinner? Are you buying flowers? Is it the food you're cooking together? Is it the shopping you're doing? Is it the traveling? What is it that you want to create? And then, of course, it's about expressing. Expression also comes in the form of, for some people, vision boards, other people journaling it, writing it down. You have to think it, you have to believe it, you have to take ownership of it as if you already have it now. The next stage is your heart chakra. So this is coming to the 4th center. So we started from the 7th, come to the 4th, and in your heart chakra, it's all about connecting to whatever it is that you're manifesting into your purpose for being alive. It's about bringing meaning into your life. Does having that Ferrari bring meaning into your life, or does it take you away and divert you for the purpose for you to be alive. And I certainly feel that's the case for me. In the work that I do, I love fast cars, I love sports cars, but it is so far removed from who I am and what I'm doing that it's a distraction as far as I'm concerned. So in what way is it connected to your highest purpose? In what way will it bring meaning into your life? The next stage is where a lot of people, especially people who are law of attraction people, they miss out. The next stage, the fifth stage, which is your third chakra, this is your solar plexus chakra, is all about decision. What is a decision? A decision is having lots of choices about approximately the same thing. So it's relationships, for example. You've got a choice of relationship, you got a choice of career, money, etc. You got to make a decision. What are you going to stay focused on? And a decision is saying, I'm looking at all these options, I'm only going to take one. I am going to decide. Decide comes from the Latin decadere, which is to cut off. I'm going to cut off all choices, I'm going to focus on this. It's this and it's do or die. So decision making is critical. You're going to stick to it. You're not going to start doing whatever it is that you need to do and then go, I wish I did something else. No, that's not decision. That's indecision. The fact that you're indecisive means that you're deciding not to make a decision. So you make that decision, but then it's also about willpower. Do I have the willpower and the staying power to make this happen? So this is coming into the physical realms. Once you've made the decision, you've got the willpower, it's important to stick to your guns. The next stage, which is your sacral chakra, this is all to do with adaptability. So you've got your vision. You've got total clarity. You know what you want. You've decided what it's going to look like. But then something comes along, a curveball, and you've got to adapt to the situation. So a curveball could be economic situation. It could be a pandemic where you're locked down. Just because there's a lockdown, it doesn't mean you have to give up on your hopes and your ambitions and your visions in life. So it's all about being a bit more playful, a bit more flexible, and adapting the situation, adapting yourself to the situation, adapting the action. Part of being playful is to be open to synchronicities. You know, a lot of people say, oh, she's lucky. She's always at the right place at the right time. Truth is, you are at the right place at the right time thousands of times in your life. Trouble is, most people are so busy with their eyes to their grindstone, focusing on that one thing so much that they miss out on all the opportunities and all the green lights. By the time everything trickles down to the sacral chakra stage, this energy center, then synchronicities will happen. So you have to have your eyes open. You have to be flexible and not so rigid and stubborn in your ways. Stay stubborn in your desire to make this a reality, but be adaptable. And then the final stage is the manifestation. So this is the part where your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations have become a reality. This is all about taking precise action. A lot of people talk about law of attraction. Look at the word attraction. If you break it down, the very first word that I see in there is action. What must I do to deserve this? What are the actions? So if you're somebody who's looking to go into a relationship, well, maybe you want to clean up a bit and look the part as if you value yourself, because who will want to be with you if you look a mess? So dress up, clean up, wash up. It may be that you need to go onto an online dating site. It could be a social media site. It may be when there's no lockdown, you are out and about at a different venues, different events, and synchronicity happens and you meet the love of your life. So you have to take action, whichever aspect of life you look at. So me creating this video, this information won't come out to you unless I bring it to you, and unless you click on the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Energy Healing Podcast, and unless you start watching the video, none of this will happen. So action must take place. Now here's what happens. Here's the beautiful thing about action. When you take enough action, people start noticing. They say, hey, this person here, they're specializing in this, or they're focused on this, or their goal is this, and they're just at it all the time. And then what happens is, people who don't know you, but they know them, they start giving you attention. They say, oh, this person is about creating videos about energy healing. That's interesting. They don't know you, but they know of you because they know you through somebody else. And then, so you got action, the next stage, and other people who don't know you, but they know your people who connected to you. This is called traction. Attraction happens when someone who's never heard of you, doesn't know anybody to do with you, they start getting magnetized. Here's what happens. As you align all your chakras in place and you take the actions and you create traction, you are creating such a electromagnetic field beyond yourself. People pick up on this energy. I did sales in the medical field. I sold medical equipment to doctors and to senior nurses, and these were the leading scientists buying the leading equipment in the world. Did I use sales technique? Very rarely. Most of the time, I was just present. Where does that presence come from? When all your higher chakras, so your crown, your third eye in your throat, and your lower chakras, which is your root chakra, your sacral, and your solar plexus, when they unite at the heart. When you are coming from your heart, from a space of service, people pick up on your vibe. Now that you know the manifestation process, how is it that you can improve your ability to manifest? There are several things I want to share with you. First of all, yoga. How does yoga affect your chakras? Very simple. Yoga was created over 5,000 years ago, and some say 15,000 years ago. It was all about paying attention to two things. One is breath work, and the second is work in alignment with your energy centers. As a result of doing yoga, and all good yoga teachers know a lot about chakras, and so when you work with them, they will work not according to your physical body, but according to your chakras. Your physical body is an outward expression of your chakra system. That's what a good yoga teacher will do. Go and do yoga because it very specifically targets your chakras. Second thing is breath work. Parts of yoga, once again, not with all yoga teachers, but many of them will work with the breath. There's a particular science of breathing, which is the manipulation of energy, called pranayama. And pranayama is working with the breath. So again, an authentic yoga teacher will help you to work with your breath, which then directly affects every single chakra. How does meditation affect your chakras? Here's what meditation does. Meditation is all about going into your inner world. It's about creating space between your thoughts. What do I mean by that? A lot of people get confused that they need to have a silent mind, but to be honest, even some of the most experienced meditation experts and monks, Buddhist monks, actually can't silence their mind completely. So it's about creating space between your thoughts. So if you were to imagine this was a wall and this was a wall and you got four walls, the bigger the space between these walls, the greater the size of the room. So manifestation is all about getting to that massive state, that massive space between your thoughts, because manifestation doesn't happen with your thoughts. They help, but it happens in the space between your thoughts. And so let's look at the opposite of manifestation. A lot of people, when they want to manifest something, they want to create something in their life, they have loads of thoughts, they start worrying, they start getting anxious, and they got thought. And there's no space whatsoever. So the reality they create is a very fear-based, very anxious-driven reality. So what meditation does, it starts calming you so that you can let the energy do the work. You do some of the work, you have to do some of the visualization, as I mentioned earlier on, but you let go, and as the saying goes, let God. If you don't believe in God, let the universe. But God sounds a bit more poetical. So you let go and let God. So that's what meditation is about. And so as you meditate, when you focus on chakra-based meditation, then you start bringing all your chakras into alignment. And we can measure this. I have the equipment to measure your chakras, every single chakra, to see if they are in alignment and how much misalignment there is. How does positive affirmations help? So first of all, I'm not a massive fan of affirmations because I believe they're done a bit incorrectly. So for example, if someone's looking in the mirror and they're a bit overweight and they want to look slimmer, they want to get slimmer, they want to lose weight, and they look in the mirror and they go, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny. Their subconscious mind is saying, no, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. And so although you might have had thoughts that you want to be skinny, you go to bed with your subconscious mind, which is driving 95 and sometimes even up to 99% of all the actions that go on in your body and in your energy field. Well, that side of you, the subconscious, is saying you're fat. A better way to use affirmations is to use positive affirmations, but in question format. So when you start asking questions in a positive way, then your subconscious mind has to answer. it will try to come up with the answer. Here are some examples. Why am I safe and secure in my body or in my home? Why is it easy for me to attract a most amazing soulmate? Why will my boss value the work that I do? Why is it easy for people to see how much contribution I'm making into their lives? So I hope you get the point. You're asking why. You can ask what questions and how questions. You don't ask from a skeptical perspective like, hey, why will my boss give me a rise? That's skeptical. No. You have to have a positive intention behind it. Why will my boss give me a rise? Use affirmations, but use them in positive context. Now, in terms of manifestation, of course, all your chakras are important, but a lot of people do not pay attention to one of the most important chakras, which is the root chakra. Some affirmations you can use for your root chakra include, why am I safe? Why am I being protected by Mother Earth? How is it so easy for me to manifest anything that I choose? And finally, I want to share with you something about foods to help your chakras. All 7 chakras have different food types, so I want to focus on the root chakra. There's several foods you can eat which enhance, which help clear, which balance your root chakra, and these are primarily grounded vegetables and fruits and vegetables which are red in color. Potatoes, parsnips, beetroots, carrots, radish, tomatoes, strawberries. All of these kind of foods are very good for your root chakra, provided you don't have any intolerance. Of course, a great way to ensure that you're covering all your chakras is make sure all your meals are colorful, have all the different colors of natural foods I'm talking about. I'm not talking about processed stuff. That doesn't count. I'm talking about natural food. So if you have your salad, does your salad look purely green, which is great for your heart chakra? But what about throwing in the tomatoes in there and throwing in pomegranates in there or carrots? So you cover all the different chakras. I hope this video has been useful for you. And I know I've covered a lot, but you know what? First stage is having that inspiration to get going. This reminds me of the story of Kevin Hart in 2019. He had a car accident that wiped him out. They had to cut the car open to bring him out, and it took him so much effort to change his life around. Here's what happened. The doctors didn't have a huge amount of hope. They knew they'd be able to move around, but he decided that he is going to be a much better man physically. And so because he'd been looking after his physical body, it took him about 8 or 9 months to recover. But a number of things he did to accelerate the shift is his mindset. Very, very positive. Come on, if every single vertebra of your body is more or less broken, anyone's going to be depressed. And somehow he fought through it. He did the exercises that the doctors, that the physiotherapists recommended, plus some more. He had his family support him and they helped him out. And even in the down times, he realized what was most important to him. And for him, it's obviously his family. With that mindset, with the purpose that I'm here for my family, going back to the heart, Kevin Hart, excuse the pun, he focused on what mattered most to him. By doing that, by aligning his vision that this is not just about providing entertainment for the world, my life isn't just that, but very importantly, I am going to spend more time, energy and effort nurturing with my family, playing with my family. Make sure if you really truly want to manifest something, have a purpose. And once you've found your purpose, and you might not know what it is right now, that's part of your purpose. By the way, not knowing is okay. Choose your purpose, stick with it, and you know what? Visualize, take action, continuously take action, and never give up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.